Hello and welcome to 3D Nato. My name is Nato, and in today's video I'll show you how to model this domino set in Blender. If you're new to Blender, this video will be a good place to start. Modeling a simple domino tile will show a lot of Blender basics, and I'll try my best to explain everything I'm doing here. For this tutorial, I'm going to use the Loop Tools extension. To install it, go to Edit, Preferences, Get Extensions, and install Loop Tools. The first thing I like to do is to delete everything in a scene and set units length to millimeters. But for this one, we'll use the default cube to model the domino tile. Select the camera, the light, and press X to delete them. And on scene, go to units and set length to millimeters. The default cube in Blender has 2 meters, and one of the most common sizes of domino tile, the one we are going to model here, is the 48 by 24 by 7.5 millimeters tile. To change the cube size, press N to open the sidebar and set dimensions to 48 mm on the x-axis, 24 mm on the y-axis, and 7.5 mm on the z-axis. Notice that this operation will change the object scale values. Now we need to reset these values back to 1. If these values are anything other than 1, operations like bevel and inset will not work properly. To fix this, press Ctrl+A to apply, and select Scale to apply scale. To zoom on objects in Blender, use the mouse wheel up and down, or just press numpad dot. To rename objects, press F2 and let's rename it baseTile.000. Now we're going to start modeling the base mesh for all domino tiles. To create round edges for this tile, let's use the bevel tool. Press Tab to go to Edit Mode and 2 to Edge Selection. Let's start creating the bevel on these vertical edges first. While holding Ctrl+Alt, click on any of these vertical edges to select this edge ring. Now press Ctrl+B to bevel and Enter to confirm. Expand the bevel menu, set width to 2 mm and segments to 4. Now holding Alt, select these other 2 horizontal edge loops, press Ctrl+B to bevel and Enter to confirm. Set width to 1 mm and segments to 4. Another thing I like to do is to place the origin point at the bottom of the mesh. To do this, let's move this mesh half of this height on the z-axis. Press A to select all, G to move, Z to lock axis, type 3.75, which is 7.5 mm divided by 2, and Enter to confirm. Now we're going to need to connect some vertices to create quad faces. And for that, we use Connect Vertex Path. Press 1 to Vertex Selection, numpad 7 to go to top view. Select these 2 vertices and press J to connect vertex path. Select these 2 vertices and press J to connect vertex path. Select these 2 vertices and press J to connect vertex path. Select these 2 vertices and press J to connect vertex path. Now we need to create quad faces on these 2 corners on the left. The 2 corners on the right, we don't need to worry for now. Select these 2 vertices and press J to connect vertex path. Select these 2 vertices and press J to connect vertex path. Now press numpad 9 to flip to bottom view and repeat the same steps. After that, go back to top view. Now we need to create 2 perfect squares to help us create a grid for the dots. To do that, press Ctrl+R to create a loop cut on the middle of the tile. Now, let's create a bevel on this edge loop. Press Ctrl+B to bevel and Enter to confirm. Set width to 2.1 mm and segments to 2. Let's enable Edge Length Overlay to check if that resulted in a perfect square. Select these 2 edges here, go to Overlays and enable Edge Length. You can see that both have 19.8 mm, so it is a perfect square. Disable Edge Length. Now let's create this middle division that domino tiles have. Select this vertex, press Shift+S to snap, and select Cursor to select it. This will place the 3D cursor on this vertex position. While still in edit mode, press Shift+A and create a UV sphere. Set segments to 8, rings to 6, and radius to 1 mm. Repeat the same steps to create the second UV sphere. Select both spheres and press Shift+H to hide unselected. Let's join these spheres together. Press Alt+E to enable X-ray, select both inner hemispheres, press Ctrl+E and select Bridge Edge Loops. As we only need the bottom part of this mesh, let's delete the top one. Select these two vertices, press Ctrl++ 3 times to select more, X to delete, and select faces. Now press Alt+Z to disable X-ray and Alt+H to reveal hidden. Now let's connect these two meshes together. Select these two vertices, press Ctrl++ to select more, X to delete, and select faces. For some reason, I couldn't get the bridge to work here. I've tried bridge edge loops, the bridge from loop tools, and they keep connecting the wrong vertices together. So to create the faces around, select 4 vertices and press F to create a new face. Now just select an edge and press F until all faces are created. As this will be used as a base to create all tiles, let's delete half of this mesh. Press Alt+Z to enable X-ray, select all vertices after the X-axis center, press X to delete, and select vertices. Disable X-ray. The base mesh is almost complete. We just need to create a grid for the dots. As I said in a dice modeling video, we're going to need a 6x6 grid to be able to create round dots with 8 vertices. To do that, just create 5 loop cuts horizontally and 5 vertically inside the dot square. Press Ctrl+R to create a loop cut, press 5 to create 5 loop cuts, and enter 2 times to confirm. Press Ctrl+R to create a loop cut, press 5 to create 5 loop cuts, and enter 2 times to confirm. Now I'm going to create a base mesh for the dots. I'm going to create 7 UV spheres so we can create all 6 combinations of dots. Select this vertex, press Shift+S to snap, and select Cursor to select it. This will place the 3D cursor on this vertex position. While still in edit mode, press Shift+A and create a UV sphere. Set segments to 8, rings to 6, and radius to 3 mm. Now just repeat the same steps to create the other 6 spheres. At the end we have a combination of 7 spheres that looks like an H. To make our jobs easier later on, let's set the materials for this base mesh. Press Tab to exit edit mode, Z to shading, and select Material Preview. Go to Materials and see that we already have a base material here. Let's rename it Domino White. Click on Base Color and set Hue to 0.2, Saturation to 0.2, and Value to 0.8. And set Roughness to 0.1. Click this plus sign to add a new material slot. Select the Domino White from this list. Click this 2 to make it a single user, and rename it Domino Black. Click on Base Color and set Hue to 0, Saturation to 0, and Value to 0.02. Now we need to assign this material for parts of the mesh, so we need to go back to Edit mode. Select all 7 spheres by pressing L, select this edge loop here, press Ctrl++ 3 times to select more, click Assign, and exit Edit mode. The base mesh is now complete, and with this, we'll be able to create all tiles. Now let's create 6 copies of this base tile to create all 7 base tiles, from 0 to 6. Press Shift+T to duplicate, Y to lock axis, type 30, and enter to confirm. To create the other 5, just press Shift+R 5 times to repeat last. I'm going to show you the steps to create the base tile 6 and will speed up while creating the others. With the tile selected, press numpad dot to zoom on object and tap to go to edit mode. Select the top vertex of the 6 spheres, press Ctrl++ 3 times to select more, hover the mouse cursor over this middle sphere, press L to select it, X to delete, and select faces. Select these 3 vertices inside the sphere, press Ctrl++ to select more, X to delete, and select faces. Notice that here we can delete all 6 at once. First, we're going to need to fill the faces around these 3 dots. But here, the bridge from the Loop Tools extension will work to fill these faces, making our jobs a lot easier. Select these 2 edge loops, right mouse, go to Loop Tools, and select Bridge. Select these 2 edge loops, right mouse, go to Loop Tools, and select Bridge. Select these 2 edge loops, right mouse, go to Loop Tools, and select Bridge. Now it's just a process of repeating the same steps on the remaining 3 dots. After you finish creating the faces, let's create some edge loops so they are sharp after the subdivision surface modifier. Select all edge loops around the black material, press Shift+E to crease, type 1, and enter to confirm. And for last, Press A to select all, and Shift plus N to recalculate normals. Now we just need to repeat these steps to create the other 6 base tiles. I'll speed up this part. Now I'm going to start creating the full domino set. This set has 28 tiles and it has one of each possible combination. I'll create all combinations from 0 to 6, and this is what I'm going to do. Select the base tile.000, press Shift plus D to duplicate, X to lock axis, type 50 and enter to confirm. Press F2 to rename and rename it 0 vertical slash 0. Press Shift plus D to duplicate, Y to lock axis, type 30 and enter to confirm. Press F2 to rename and rename 0 vertical slash 1. Press Shift plus D to duplicate, Y to lock axis, type 30 and enter to confirm. Press F2 to rename and rename 0 vertical slash 2. Press Shift plus D to duplicate, Y to lock axis, type 30 and enter to confirm. Press F2 to rename and rename it 0 vertical slash 3. Press Shift plus D to duplicate, Y to lock axis, type 30 and enter to confirm. Press F2 to rename and rename it 0 vertical slash 4. Press Shift plus D to duplicate, Y to lock axis, type 30 and enter to confirm. Press F2 to rename and rename it 0 vertical slash 5. Press Shift plus D to duplicate, Y to lock axis, type 30 and enter to confirm. Press F2 to rename and rename it 0 vertical slash 6. By doing this column here will have all combinations that have 0. Repeat the same steps until you have created all 7 columns, from 0 to 6. Notice that for every column, I'll remove one tile so we don't have any duplicates. If we already created a 0-1 tile, we don't need to create a 1-0 tile. Just remember that every column has a distance of 50 mm on the x-axis, and in their corresponding column, every tile has a distance of 30 mm on the y-axis. With that in mind, let's finish creating these columns. Now I'm going to complete the first column and create all tiles with 0. The steps are very easy to do. We just need to duplicate all base tiles and join them to their corresponding tile on the column with 0. Select the base tile.000, press Shift plus D to duplicate, X to lock axis, type 50 and enter to confirm. Press R to rotate, Z to lock axis, type 180 and enter to confirm. Shift select the 0 vertical slash 0 and press Ctrl plus J to join. Press Tab to go to edit mode, A to select all, M to merge and select by distance. Lower the merge distance value to 0.01 to remove 40 vertices instead of 42 and press Tab to exit edit mode. Now I'll repeat the same steps to create all tiles in this column. Now I'm going to complete the second column and create all tiles with 1. Select the base tile.001, press Shift plus D to duplicate, X to lock axis, type 100 and enter to confirm. Press R to rotate, Z to lock axis, type 180 and enter to confirm. Shift select the 1 vertical slash 1 and press Ctrl plus J to join. Press Tab to go to edit mode, A to select all, M to merge, select by distance and press Tab to exit edit mode. From now on, I'll just speed up the process of creating all remaining columns. The steps are the same as the previous ones. Just remember that every column has a distance of 50 mm on the x-axis. The first one is 50 mm, the second one is 100 mm, the third one is 150 mm, the fourth one is 200 mm, the fifth one is 250 mm, the sixth one is 300 mm, and the seventh one is 350 mm. Let's finish creating the full set. After all tiles are created, what I like to do is to place them into different collections. This way we can separate the base tiles from the full set. Select all tiles, press M to move to collection, click New Collection, rename it Domino Set, and click Create. For the base tiles, I'll just rename this collection Base Tiles. To hide it from both viewport and render, just uncheck the collection checkbox. To finish this project, all we have to do now is to select all tiles from the set, press Ctrl+2 to add a level 2 subdivision surface modifier, right mouse, and select Shade Auto Smooth. And there you have it, a full domino set with 28 tiles. If you're still here, it means you are liking the content of this channel. I really want to thank you for spending your time with me learning some basic Blender. I hope you have enjoyed as much as I have making it. So please, consider subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it, and leave a comment. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you on the next one. Bye bye.